I put in here, insert drum solo here.
Would you like some spoons? Okay.
All right.
If you had known, you would have brought your drums, Kate.
Yeah.
He came, okay, Return of the Lone Ranger. He came across some nasty dude. He spat tobacco and he was kind of rude. Ranger John wasn't having none of that. He put his face to the wind and pulled down his hat. When he got up close, he remembered his face. Wasn't he Meriwether Lewis from the Natchez Trace? Or maybe it was Billy Bowlegs from the Tamiami Trail? Or was it that old 49er on the Yukon Road Rail? I wrote this last night at 11, I'm not kidding. No ID, he went, no ID, so he went on his way. Then he turned back, he had one last thing to say. His words were cryptic and they were not very long. I'm the dude at the start of your farewell song. Hurricane Ridge, it's a mighty facade. In Hurricane Ridge, it's a mighty facade, and just the right light you can see the face of God. But if you want to meet your maker in full form, you gotta walk into the eye of a hurricane storm.
Yeah, come on.
Fills his bucket in the Ho-Rain forest, but even sometimes there he feels like a tourist. Back in the swamp, knee deep in a cypress dome, soggy socks and mosquitoes make him feel at home.
All right.
He could have easily left and never returned. No need recrossing any bridges you've burned. Kemosabe packed lunch. It was a pretty good salad. He needed the energy for slogging back and finally getting his ballad. I'm having trouble with the rhythm here. He grew up a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's court before he crusaded back to the Golden Lion looking for that lost fort. Let me get that again. He grew up a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's court before he crusaded back to the Golden Lion looking for that lost fort. Oh God. Galloping on an airboat into that Seminole wind. There ain't no holy grail, that ain't no holy grail, it's just a 1970s era pull-off tab can made of tin.
Were you smoking last night?
Pacific Coast is getting pounded with a Pineapple Express, which morphs into a cold front in the rocky Great West. Then around Mississippi, it meets a Gulf breeze. That's when it metasizes into 20-foot seas. Batten down the hatches before everything's gone. It's the long-awaited return of Ranger John. Most Rangers leave and they never come back. But there's one answered question that had him scratching his cap. He was brought up to know right from wrong, and to keep going back until he got his song. He didn't bust those punks for fishing square grouper. That ain't NPS jurisdiction, we called in the state troopers. How about that gang that bagged the Palmetto loot? Oh yeah, those dudes, he squashed them with his Ranger boot. You know you're out of Olympic when you see the clear-cut line. Yeah, it happened in Big Cypress too, but now they're growing back fine. Saw as many panthers as I did skunk apes and ivory bills. That don't mean I don't leave a can of lima beans out on the windowsill. Someday, you know, Sasquatch will finally appear. but it won't be any time fast, so go grab another beer. Any day now, you know it won't be long before they send me off with the proper farewell song. Insert the drums here. Old timers still recall back in 1958, before they dug the canals from Kissimmee to the Cape. They brought in the cows and they grew up the cane. But it was the coastal development that turned this place insane. Somewhere in the Big Cypress, though, it still makes sense, where there's nothing but space and it's all unfenced. If you listen closely, you can hear that sheep flow roar, and look up into the sky and watch the eagle soar. That's the reason that the Lone Ranger, he returns, and deep in his heart for which he yearns. He can stay away, but only for so long, but now maybe a little longer that he finally